They say hindsight's 2020. And when I was going through my divorce in my first marriage, let me tell you, I was down in the dumps because I literally believed that I was going to be broke forever and that I was ending my relationship with my children and access to them right then and there. But if I could go back in time, knowing what I know now, I would give myself some tips. And here's what they would be. One, I would tell myself, hey, don't be so down. Okay. Your relationship is not going to end with your children today, believe it or not. In fact, you're going to get a lot of access to your children as long as you make yourself available and you're reasonable. The courts will try to give you as much time as possible, believe it or not. Two, understand this, that your relationship with your children is only going to end if you allow it to. No one can stop that except you. Three, when it comes to the name calling and being disrespectful, don't ever participate in it. Okay? Don't play the blame game or any of those things because it may seem like the other party is winning when they do those things and it makes you want to participate. Don't do it because eventually your children grow up. And when they do that, there's a couple things you need to keep in mind. One, they're going to remember that you didn't participate in those things. And they're going to actually resent the other parent who called names and all those things. Two, as the child grows, you're setting an example for how they're to behave in relationships. And you want that to be healthy. You want what's best for your children. You don't want to be a person who sets the example of name calling and throwing things and so on and so forth. And then lastly, when it comes to those things, it says a lot about you yourself. People who are angry, they're talking into a mirror. Hurt people hurt people. So a good sign that you've moved on with your life is not participating in those things at all. Now, when it comes to money and being broke and having child support and all these things, you hear all these negative things. Don't immerse yourself into that. Ignore those things. Pay what's due. Follow the orders, okay? Over time, you're going to reinvest in yourself, Tommy, and you're going to end up making way more money than you ever made. So just keep that in mind. But you're never going to have to look back and sit there and say, well, I gave up time in order to save some money. You don't want to do that. Trust me. Finally, I tell myself, Tommy, you may feel right now as though God is forsaking you and God is punishing you and that, no one's ever going to love you and your kids. It's not true. God hasn't forsaken you. God has a much greater plan. You need to trust in him. Believe it or not, you're starting on the road to a much better life. And over time, you will come to realize that. It doesn't feel like it today, but over time you will. Trust me, I know.